You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The ecosystem approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach Show. It's February of 2021, and the news is all about leaders, lack of leadership, love of our leaders, and mistrust of leaders. Well, and who should be our leader? Today, we will talk about leadership in a way that you've probably never heard before. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems. Boy, that wasn't coming out. So we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Other than that, it's a little blip there. Jason, today the news is all about our political leaders. Is today's show about politics?
I'm kind of over it.
Okay.
And so the quick answer is no.
Okay.
It's really about you and your need for any authority or experts to lead you. Oh. And we're going to talk about leadership in the age of Aquarius.
Oh, okay.
I always like talking about the age of Aquarius, and this is so appropriate for that.
It really is. It really is. Definitely.
What we've seen is that people when you accept a programming frame for your life, which is 3 easy steps to do this. This is how you do this. Most of our education is programming.
Right.
Learn this and regurgitate it back.
Right.
Right. That's programming.
Right.
When you accept that frame for your life, you need a programmer to lead you.
Well, of course.
It makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does.
So if you accept programming as your frame, you need a programmer.
Right.
And there's this archetype of a person out there in the world today that's quote unquote successful.
Yes.
That's hard charging, with a lot of self-discipline, self-control, persistent, has a strong personality. Mm-hmm. And that all comes from being programmed.
Yes.
That's not natural and authentic to the way humans are designed.
Exactly.
That hard charging archetype is really toxic.
Oh, yeah. I have a hard time working around people that are that way.
Well, and I can be aggressive, but
yes.
but I wouldn't call myself hard charging, and it's not because I program myself that way.
No.
It's because that's how I feel. That's how that's my nature.
Exactly. It's the interesting part is that I see that people can't see the difference.
Yes. Exactly.
I just see
from being programmed that way or being that way naturally.
Well, and the other thing is that when you start talking about becoming such as a leader or natural leader for yourself, people go, huh?
What is that?
What is that? What do you mean? I lead myself. Well, you might lead yourself to the grocery store, or you might lead yourself to drive a car.
Or choose this programming method versus this programming method.
Exactly.
We've been saying this for all along, but programming is toxic to your natural ecosystem.
Yes.
For you as an individual.
Exactly.
And, these epidemic of mental health issues, suicide.
Right now. Oh, I know.
Depression,
alcoholism,
drug abuse,
addiction. Yeah.
All sorts of addictions, any sort of addiction.
Exactly.
Are all mental health issues.
We're not going to talk about my sugar addiction at the moment, right? Okay.
You'll get a pass today.
Yeah, okay,
but all those addictions come from negative energy in your essence.
Right.
And programming, which is toxic, which is when we say it's toxic, those are some of the natural results of programming.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And programming suppresses your essence. Mm-hmm. And when you suppress your essence or your soul, there's anger that comes forward. Oh. And so anger and hate as a result, you see a lot of anger and hate in the world today.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's just a lot. So natural leadership, which is a kind of a term that it's out there, but we kind of grabbed it and are owning it,
Yes.
is using evolved consciousness to both lead and to follow.
Wait a minute. Say that one more time. That's really, really important.
Natural leadership
Okay.
is a form of evolved consciousness that helps you both follow and to lead. And again, if you, for those of you who haven't heard our show before, evolved consciousness is holistic, and it has a wisdom that comes from applying the ecosystem approach.
Right.
In other words, as you start to uncover who you are, you not only have better intuition,
oh yeah,
but you have better wisdom, you have more strength, you have more discernment. You're able to, there's a whole list of things that come out, and each of us is different.
Exactly.
So when we uncover you, it's different than when I uncover myself.
Exactly. Or when we're working with our clients,
yes,
it's different. But the part that's really interesting to me, and because I have experienced this, is that when you start uncovering yourself by using the ecosystem approach, there's a couple of things that happen. One of the things I needed the most, and it came right up, it was amazing, was like right under the surface, had no idea, was objectivity about how to deal with myself. He's laughing. I truly did not know what it meant.
Most people who know Patricia would not think of objectivity
at
first,
all. No,
as a word that would describe her.
Exactly. But the best thing of all is that I can have that now, and I can own it now, and I can, there's what I find is when I have the objectivity, there's a power.
Yes.
There is a power that it amazes me. And then what I see, and especially since we're talking about this today, I become my own natural leader.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean I don't go to other people for advice, or I don't do, ask for help, because I do. But the bottom line is with that objectivity, because of the ecosystem approach, I then become my own natural leader.
So when you start
those layers, like we talk about,
clearing away the negative energy on your
uncover,
you become a natural leader, which means that you start, you take charge of yourself first.
Yes.
And it's not just, and when you have that, you have a form of good energy. It sounds kind of hippie-ish. Oh, good energy, man.
Far out, man.
But good energy, man. But what happens is that when you have that good energy, people gravitate towards you for reasons they don't even understand.
Right.
But they're gravitating toward the good energy.
Yes.
And so natural leadership is where someone stands up and says, this is who I am authentically. And people around them say, yeah, I want what they're having.
Right.
And
exactly.
And that's as it should be. Well, but right now, so here's what I see.
Okay.
People create these, leaders create these, this mystique around themselves, or this, they play a role like an actor in a movie. And they say, this is who I am.
Exactly.
And people believe it. It's not real.
Exactly. Well, and because of programming, we've all been trained to be really good actors.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the hard part, because we see out in the world, and I am talking about politics, that people took a form of acting as being power, and power that they were going to gain themselves. And boy, have they been duped.
Yes.
It's really sad to me.
It really is. So, we're designed to be leaders for ourselves.
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter whether you are in charge of 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people.
Or one. Exactly.
Parents are natural leaders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And parents don't even realize it. And then sometimes parents are programmed leaders, meaning you will do this, you will do that, and that's just the way it is. They
seek to mold their children by programming, and
exactly.
It creates a form of
trauma, resistance, anger, hate.
Yes,
all of it. I can go on and on about that one. Absolutely.
So even if you're thinking that I don't lead anybody, I'm just just a regular person.
Yeah.
It always starts with yourself first. And that's the most important leadership.
And that's the point we're trying to make today, is that when you start using the ecosystem approach, what happens is that there's a knowing that comes forward that works hand in hand with that power that I was talking about a little while ago, that it's phenomenal. And it comes, and you know that it's coming from the essence of who you are. The essence, your essence is your soul. And it's truly, truly amazing. And it's wonderful to be able to walk around with it. Now, nobody's perfect. And some of us have good days and bad days. But the bottom line is that when you use the ecosystem approach, you can be that natural leader for yourself. Jason,
and then others, yes.
Are you ready to do the key points?
Exactly.
Okay.
When you accept a programming frame for your life, you need programmers. With natural leadership, you can choose who you allow to lead you based on real knowing. In other words, you choose your leaders.
And that means if you use the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
Okay.
Natural leaders get others to follow based on their positive energy and authenticity.
True.
And the ecosystem approach helps you become a natural leader, both as a follower and a leader.
Okay, I love that. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the traumas of leaders who have betrayed you and how to overcome that betrayal so you can regain a natural leadership for yourself. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens with monthly guest host Karen Betten. Tune in for powerful conversations about health and wellness. Karen brings unique insights rich with humor and science to her discussions with experts in medicine, movement, psychology, spirituality, and so much more. Don't miss Karen on The Truth is Funny every third Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBetten.com.
Tune in to the show Heart Change Consciousness with me, Dr. Trish DeRocher, as stories of inspired activism come to life. Listening to conversations with your favorite authors, change makers, and many more who practice inspired spiritual activism and transform vulnerabilities into sources of strength. Let's be inspired together through my show Heart Change Consciousness on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Did you know that when we talk about the Earth's ecosystems, the most important ecosystem has been left out? We created the ecosystem approach to recapture human potential.
Find us at theecosystemapproach.org.
Join us every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
You've been listening, but are you watching? Tune in to your favorite shows on the Transformation Talk Radio Facebook page. We stream live video podcasts every day.
Mind to Heart with me, Craig Richardson, carves a pathway from your mind to your heart to activate that innate compass to overcome whatever life sends your way. As an intuitive life coach, I am ready to guide you to an amazing life. Tune in live every second and fourth Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about me, visit CraigERichardson.com.
Has your kindness been used against you? Are you ready to clear the confusion and reconnect with your power? Then it's time to become toxic person proof. Join toxic relationship specialist Sarah K. Ramsey as she gives you the secrets to rebuilding and rebranding your life after a toxic person encounter. It's time to get past the past, get real about the present, and get serious about your future. For more information, visit sarahkramsey.com.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the trauma of leaders who have betrayed you, and how to overcome the betrayal so you can regain a natural leadership for yourself. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, Jason, I need you to be clear, and I think the audience needs you to be clear. What do you mean by leaders who betray you? What does that mean?
The most common betrayal is in childhood from parents.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
I
can
see
also
that.
be, it can also be teachers, coaches,
Yes.
ministers,
Yes.
priests,
Right.
any sort of authority figure.
Mhm.
But that betrayal is pretty significant because instinctively as children, we expect our parents to be trustworthy because we rely on them. We're
Yeah.
dependent on them.
Yeah,
And when that trust is betrayed,
yeah.
it creates problems. So here are some of the common results of that betrayal. This is what happens in terms of your personality.
Right. And then we're gonna then pick a couple of them out and talk about it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, those people that say, you can't tell me what to do, or I'll be perfect and obedient, so you'll never have any reason to criticize me. You've seen those people too, I know. I don't trust anyone. Oh my gosh. And I'm innocent and gullible, and I've always been taken advantage of because of my good nature.
Right.
That's a common one.
Mhm.
I think everyone is out to get me, in a form of paranoia, yes. And I need to control everything in my life to keep myself safe.
Yeah, it's first off, you can have one or all of the above. And you kind of, and what we're talking about here is this is a betrayal that has been a lifelong thing. You've been carrying this around.
It's an energy.
It's an energy.
The energy
Thank
is
you very
a
much.
betrayal. Betrayal is an energy, and it
Exactly.
gets stuck in your essence.
It really
and it
does.
affects your behavior
It really
going
does.
forward.
Exactly.
So when we see all this mistrust of leaders and government and institutions,
correct.
It's probably been earned,
Probably
from a long time ago, and it's really widespread,
yeah.
and it's because of programming.
Right.
And this programming, a lot of times if a parent, this isn't a parenting show, but if you want to program your children as opposed to find out who they are and let them and uncover them so they can see who they are, that's the key to parenting, as opposed to saying you're gonna be a doctor like your dad, or you're gonna go in the family business, or that's a form of programming that sometimes doesn't end well.
And I have a story about that. I just now remembered this. I worked in the restaurant business a lot, and there was a new busboy that came into the restaurant that I was working in, and he was just short and snippy and almost he ignored me. And so I finally stopped him one day when it wasn't busy, and I said, what gives? And he said nothing, kind of like a chip on his shoulder. And I said, whoa, no. I said, believe it or not, I need you to tell me what's going on, because I can tell directly you don't like me, but we all have to work together. I need to know why. Did I do something, or, that kind of thing? And he said, no, you remind me of my mother, and turned around and walked away. And that was a perfect example of betrayal by a parent in some way.
That lasts.
It lasted for years. And the thing that was ironic was the boss heard what I did, and he heard the conversation. He waited an hour or so, and he called the kid in, and he said, you need to know something. Don't mess with my best waitress.
Well, and so there's all these areas where this mistrust of leaders is reflected. Political, we hear all about that in the news.
Of course. Religious,
that's a big one. Business, medical and science is a big one. And even technology.
Sure.
Being betrayed by our social media system. That sort of thing.
There you go.
Okay. So here's the thing. There's I have another story too. So I remember a client, we were working, and they said to me, well, I trust you. I basically was telling them to keep going.
Okay.
This is going to get better. Keep going.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I trust you, and what they were trying to tell me is that they were feeling pretty bad then,
right?
But they were going to trust me to make it better for them in the future.
Yes.
And boy, that's a setup.
Sure is.
Because it's a setup for us, because we're not programmers.
No.
We help uncover who you are. And so when you uncover who you are, then those inner resources is what you want to trust.
Exactly.
Not us.
Yes.
You trust those inner resources. And, we have that. There's a couple of good articles on our website.
Oh.
So if you go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, sign up for our free section, go to the place where it says free content, and then there's the blog section, and there's an article about natural leadership, which
I forgot
really
about that. Yeah.
And also about being your own guru, which is what natural leadership is all about.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So when we look outside of ourselves for programmers or leaders versus creating our own internal leadership,
right?
It's a setup to find the worst possible. And we've had so many people over the years who have had bad spouses, bad bosses, have been in situations. Usually they come to us because they're in a situation, a relationship that's not working out, whether it's with a boss at work or whether it's with a spouse. And when you pick a programming frame for your life and you need a programmer, what type of person do you gravitate toward? Well, types of, and I call them, this is probably a little extreme, I call them dictators.
No, that's not extreme. It's
you look for a spouse that's a dictator.
Oh, absolutely.
And we hear people say that, he or she was so confident when we were dating, but now they just want to tell me what to do all the time, or controlling me, or all that sort of thing.
Right.
And if we don't have that internal resource, we have to have that dictator around us. Same thing with a boss.
Yeah, true.
If you don't need a dictator, chances are you're not going to last in a work area where people are, the boss is a dictator.
Right.
So, and domestic violence, that's a big part of this.
Yes.
Wait
a minute. Why is it a big part of this?
Because domestic violence results from the lack of natural leadership
within yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
So whether you're the perpetrator, which is a form of being controlling and abusive, being the super programmer, or whether you're the victim, which is the person who needs to be programmed.
Yes.
It's probably not politically correct to say this, but we see it as the flip side of two coins, is that there's an ecosystem in terms of domestic abuse that is toxic.
Really?
And
toxic.
So if you take away the perpetrator,
by the way. Yes,
take away the perpetrator or take away the person that needs to be programmed, it doesn't necessarily change the energy, because those things will naturally go back and attract other dictators and other people to be programmed.
Absolutely. And the one of the things that I've seen, and just actually lately, I've seen that people don't know what somebody's all about completely. Everybody shows parts of themselves. And when they go into a relationship, I'm talking about a business relationship, a relationship, and a relationship with things. You see things one way in the beginning, and then other things happen, and then you start to see other things as well. And the problem with being the leader is that you want things to stay exactly the same way.
Right.
But if you are the follower, so to speak, you realize at some point that I made a huge mistake. And when you try and leave, you will pay a price.
You pay a price, but if you... Okay, go ahead, make your point.
But if you start using the ecosystem approach, what happens is that you start to see even clearer and better and more than... I'm talking about if you are the victim in the situation, you can see better and more and find a way out that way.
And the way out is through natural leadership, by having your own internal resources.
Exactly. And that's the ecosystem approach.
You can't program yourself out of domestic abuse.
No,
because having someone tell you that you're, like go to the mirror and say 5 times you're confident and you're strong.
Right.
That doesn't change the energy.
It doesn't change anything, actually.
The ecosystem approach changes the energy, and that's what makes it so powerful.
And that is one of the most amazing things.
So if this is if this gets you, if this touches your heart in some way, now's the perfect time to commit to using or doing the ecosystem approach.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to our website, again, theecosystemapproach.org, and just sign up for our free section, you can do that right now.
Yeah.
While we talk about the key points.
There you go. Well, wait a minute. That's my line. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Betrayal by parents and authority in childhood interrupts human evolution. Betrayal of trust comes from programming, which creates negative behaviors that are common today. And our programming culture creates a quest for those who would program us versus internal leadership. And the ecosystem approach teaches you to create natural leadership for yourself, so you don't need programming or a programmer.
And you can see the difference.
Yes.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about natural leadership in the age of Aquarius that you can have for yourself. I love that. This will change the relationship you have with all the leaders in your life. Now, this is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get empowered. Transformation Talk Radio.
The Dr. Pat Show.
The Dr. Pat Show.
The Dr. Pat Show.
This is it. The energy of heart to heart, mind to mind, love to love. These are the questions that people have and rarely state. When we have an internal transformation and we see things differently, what does it mean to step into the full nature of being a spiritual being? How am I to be? This is it. Every day, you have to do something outrageously positive. It is so absolutely relevant because what I've seen in humanity, despite what's in the headlines, I'm so struck by the heroes that have come forward. I'm just absolutely in awe. The idea generators and superheroes. All of you, you are the best listening audience in the world, and we are bringing it in 2021.
TransformationTalkRadio.com. Let the journey begin.
Welcome to Soul Activation Podcast, a world-class broadcast of insight and inspiration with the renowned healer and coach, Suzanne Alexandria. In this series, she dives deep into the magical sea of you, to the place in you that's ready to activate. Tune in live every second and fourth Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
What would you do with the power of community? How do you create your own rituals? Tune in to Living Your Gifts with me, Susan Huff, Ancient Applications for Modern Times, the second Wednesday of each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Our lives begin with the stories we are told and the stories we tell ourselves. Storytelling is the key. To learn more about me, visit livingyourgifts.com. That's livingyourgifts.com.
We remember a time when you could simply form a thought and it would manifest. The harmony was forgotten, but it is returning now. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Juliet Griffin on TransformationTalkRadio.com each second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We'll take you on adventures through the heart and spirit, exploring who we once were. This intuitive healer studied under the guidance of wolves, learning from their wisdom to master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Visit OneTrueSelf.com.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about natural leadership in the age of Aquarius that you can have for yourself. I mean, wow. This will change the relationship you will have with all the leaders in your life. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, Jason, bad leaders seem to be everywhere today. You know, I mean, you've noticed that, right? Well, so can natural leadership be the antidote?
It is. And the natural leadership is the way out of the epidemic of bad leadership today. Mm-hmm. And it is in alignment with the energies of the age of Aquarius. And we're going to talk about that. You know, I have a book on my bookshelf about sociopaths that are CEOs of big companies.
Oh, not surprising.
You know, and
I think we knew a few.
Basically, the premise of the book is that to be a CEO today, you almost have to be a sociopath to move up the ladder. Because you have to be all things to everybody, and you know it's you can't get you can't be really authentic.
Yeah,
because in a big company, it's a programming world.
Yeah,
you know, this is how you're supposed to look in this culture.
Okay.
So let's just review for the audience about the age of Aquarius, because I'm all excited about this. The age of Aquarius is an energy age, you know, that they use from astrology, but it's about the empowerment of the individual. In other words, this age spans like 2,100 years, but it creates an energy that makes it easy for individual empowerment to come forward.
Okay.
It makes it easier for more democratic types of government and
that would be nice.
Organizations.
I see.
You know that you know, instead of kind of top down, you will do this. Right. It's going to be more democratic, and the idea of natural leadership is right in alignment with the age of Aquarius.
Okay,
because it starts first with the empowerment of the individual, and then you go because that energy is so attractive.
Yeah.
If you go inside and you take away all the negative stuff, and again, this happens. This is a process. It's not something, not a switch that you flick.
Exactly.
But, you know, you go through this process of natural leadership, and the energy that you emote on a daily basis is positive and attracts people to you. Yes. So when you say, "Let's do this," there's people that say, "Yeah, I want to do that with that person because the energy feels good. I want to be with that person."
Well, and you know, I'm going to go to the real extreme far side of it. Whenever we have like a dinner party or, you know, something like that, people really don't want to go home.
I personally don't like that.
and I mean, we've seen it. And by the way, you know,
she won't let me yell fire or anything like that. So it just
absolutely not.
But it's you know, we did. There was a story about that. You know, we did a meet and greet for we live in an HOA,
right? And for a candidate,
and people,
a couple of them actually.
You know, so we kind of took charge of this. You know, when we had maybe 50, 60, maybe a little more people here.
Yeah.
And I was having people come up to me and say, "Oh, I need some help with this," and they were assuming that I had all these skills and ability. One person wanted me to look at some financial data, and you know, I mean, if you really knew me, financial data is not where I want to be. So, but
he can do it. He doesn't want to be there.
You don't want to be there.
I don't blame him.
You know, but because the energy was so good, they just, you know, it was really good. But here's the point. Okay. Today, leaders, they're actors. They assume a role.
Yes, they do.
And we believe it.
Yes.
Because we accept this programming frame, so they program us to believe this role that they play about themselves, and then when we're betrayed, it is devastating. It's feeling like, oh my gosh, the world doesn't work, you know.
And it's definitely not working for me today. That kind
of thing.
Yes,
and we become disillusioned and disappointed, and of course we do, you know. But the way out of that, the antidote to all of that, is the ecosystem approach and becoming a natural leader for yourself.
Right.
You know?
And, you know, I just have to say, I had 2 or 3 people at that same get together come up to me and say, "Which one of you is going to run for office in our community?" And I just looked at them square in the face and said, "Neither one of us."
I would have to commit some sort of suicide to be, it's just not us. Okay. I won't go down that rabbit hole, but the truth is, it's just, we have good energy, but it doesn't mean that we do everything. It just means that we have good energy. People want to be around us. People want to attract it to us.
And it's true. But let's go back to, because we're being natural leaders for ourselves. That's the point I want to make here. We're being natural leaders for ourselves. And so people don't realize that's what they're looking at, but they want the same for themselves.
So I'm going to talk about how the age of Aquarius, where you want to have individual empowerment for more democracy in the world.
Okay.
So it's more, instead of, top down, it's more democratic, where everybody has input.
Right.
Now, we hear about that. People talking about that with buzzwords and things like that.
Right.
But it's not happening.
Okay.
And, evolved consciousness, we talk about that all the time.
Yes.
Is just taking the negative energy away from your essence.
Mm-hmm.
And so that the part of you that's conscious becomes more evolved, in a more holistic way. Evolved
especially starting with you.
Evolved consciousness for Patricia is a lot different than for me.
Oh, geez.
I look, we're very different in a lot of respects.
Truly.
But it's that holistic part of us feels good for us personally.
Yes.
And for you, it's going to be totally different. But that's okay.
Because it's you.
Exactly.
And the uniqueness of you is amazing, even if you don't know it.
When programming is the norm, it demands dictatorial leaders because followers demand it. And when this happens, we may love our dictators until they betray us. Wow. And then we say, oh, what happened? There's something wrong in the world. When the truth is, if we had evolved consciousness, we'd say, oh, that person's a phony. Oh, that person doesn't deserve for me to follow them.
Yes. Well, and the other thing is none of that. I won't even go there. No.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So I had another story.
Okay.
This is way before I started doing this work, but I worked for an art college. That's where I met Patricia, and I came up with a system that they had. They would do field trips. They had the whole fleet of buses, and they would do field trips around San Francisco. They had a whole fleet of buses, and I came up with a system so they could do 2 and 3 times as many field trips with the same amount of buses. Mm-hmm. And they were impressed, and they promoted me to be the head of the bus people, so to speak, the buses, the buses, and the bus drivers.
Right.
And the supervisor of the bus drivers, he would come to me and ask me questions like, well, the bus is broken down. What do I do? Well, take it to the garage, but I was trying to train him to say, instead of having me tell him what to do all the time, he was very programmed.
Yes.
Very black and white.
Yes.
I would tell him stories, which were meant to be little, parables about what to do in a situation like this.
And how he could think for himself.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And at some point he got so upset, really, with me. He went around me to my boss and said I was lying to him. And she saw right away what was happening.
Right.
That he wanted something black and white. He wanted to, when he asked me what to do, he wanted me to tell him, you should do this.
Right.
And that's how he envisioned, for someone who's been programmed all his life, he couldn't imagine it any other way.
Right.
Which was a great lesson for me too, because when you become a natural leader, you see the people around you and you're in a leadership position who need to be programmed, who have to be programmed.
Because that's the only way they can survive.
That's the way they've grown up, and they know no other way. So just something to take in consideration. But the idea of evolved consciousness is the main part of this, because that's when you open yourself up and you become authentic, and you have intuition, you can see people's motivation, you have wisdom, knowledge, all
and
these
then
things.
and then you, like for me, one of the things I needed the most was objectivity.
Yes.
When I gained that objectivity, the clarity about things, my life became so much better.
Yes.
I mean, it was, in fact, I didn't have any clarity about it, what is, as I look at it, now, but that's, here and there. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
When you have evolved consciousness with your relationship with all leaders, change.
Okay.
So the age of Aquarius calls for individual empowerment, which comes from natural leadership. Okay. And natural leadership requires that both leaders and followers to have evolved consciousness.
Exactly.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to have natural leadership for yourself by creating evolved consciousness.
I love it. So real quick, we're going to teach you how to clear for those of you who don't know how to do that. So Jason?
We do this every show. We're going to do clearing in the next segment. Mm-hmm. And here's how you do it. You can sit, stand, lay down. You can be walking. You can be driving. You can be doing something else.
Right.
But when we say and to eliminate, in your mind's eye, you gather that all up. In your mind's eye, in your imagination, gather up like veils and illusions, a specific emotion, gather it up and blow it into the processor.
And I'm not sure if Olivia has that up right now or not, but it will be up for the next section, to my knowledge.
There'll be an image of the processor.
Yes.
If you don't have the processor image in your mind, you can use a trash can.
Right.
And you can use an imaginary trash can, but try and use a processor because we created that.
And it's really helpful.
Yes.
So yes, definitely. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to activate life force energy, and that life force energy, we're going to call it in through the top of our head, let it go all the way down our body, and then we're going to stop it at the tips of our toes. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to let that energy, that life force energy, lift up any more negative energy that's there and remove it from our body. And by the way, if the processor is there, that negative energy is going in there. So anything else, Jason?
No, we're good.
All right, here we go. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to start clearing so you can become a natural leader for yourself and then for others. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Thank you for listening in on Eye of Soul Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com with me, Psychic Medium Jamie. Return next time for an empowering and yet chilling look into the raw side of spirit. For more information about myself and the Eye of Soul, visit eyeofsoulradio.com. That's Eye of Soul Radio. Eye of Soul Radio only on TransformationTalkRadio.com. See you next time.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Hello, I'm Carrie Kadambi, and this is your Spirited Exchange moment. Do you want to be the best you can be? Do you want to live your dream life? Anything is possible when you choose to consciously evolve. Begin by noticing your reaction to things in your everyday life. When a reaction is uncomfortable, this is a sign that there's an inner root cause that has triggered you, and it's calling out to be healed. Take action to transform and heal those limiting beliefs or trauma experiences that no longer serve you. Take time daily to recognize your reactions and then set out to heal and release them using one of many somatic healing modalities available. How will you choose to evolve today? Join me on Transformation Talk Radio for my show, A Spirited Exchange. For more information about me, visit thedivineguidancegift.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out at drpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
It's time to shake out your money-making truth on Soul Wisdom Abundance with Jennifer Bloom, creating wealth from spiritual health on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show is more than your roadmap to success. It's your compass to abundance through joy and ease. Jennifer Bloom teaches you about the soul's relationship to money and wealth and how improving that relationship serves both you and the world. Learn more at jenniferbloom.com.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to start clearing so you can become a natural leader for yourself and then others. You ready to go?
Yes,
all right.
Let's do it. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the barrier so I can see that removing bad energy from essence creates a form of natural leadership.
Take a breath, nice and easy.
Blow it into that processor.
Into that processor. And continuing on, and to eliminate the barrier so I can see that leading myself is necessary to overcome, to be the best that I can be. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the anger, hate, rage, and bitterness from my past, which comes from betrayal in my past.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. Think of it as that I don't need that anymore. Just throw it away. And to eliminate the fear of the hurt, shame, and pain from betrayal in my childhood. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate the barrier so I can see that programming keeps a person from their internal leadership.
Oh, that's big.
So they can express that in the world. Take a breath.
Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that if I accept programming for my life, then I need a programmer. I release and let go that false belief right now. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the false belief that programming creates strength when natural leadership of self is the real strength.
Yes, it's true. Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that my internal strength is something I can always count on. I love that one. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the fear, terror, and panic when I remember my past, but I know I can clear those fears.
Yes. Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can pursue evolved consciousness so I can become my own natural leader. Take a breath. Negative energy in that processor.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that I want to be part of the age of Aquarius.
Well, I'm here. I might as well do it.
I need natural leadership.
I need natural leadership. Take a breath, everyone. And use that processor, garbage can. It's a good deal. So I'm going to activate some life force.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force energy so I can use life force energy for all that I need, want, desire, and deserve, and become my own natural leader. Take a breath. In through the top of your head. Let it go all the way down, tips of your toes. Stop it right there. Turn it around. Negative energy. Push that. Let that life force energy push that negative energy out.
And to activate life force so I can trust that becoming a natural leader for myself will affect others around me in a positive way.
I love that one too. Take a breath. To the top of your head, all the way down. Stop it. And then push out any negative energy left over. And to activate life force so I can decide to pursue natural leadership for myself to be part of the age of Aquarius. Take a breath. And to activate life force so I can use life force energy in my highest and best interest so I can see that natural leadership is in my best interest. Take a breath. Last one, yes?
Yes.
And activate life force energy so I can be happy and healthy and creative and have fun, be the leader that I want to be, and be the best leader that I want to be and can be, and also be creative and have the ability to heal and heal myself in the highest and best interest of me. Take a breath, and those around me. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
You know, this is Love Month. February is Love Month. So,
I see.
So one of the things we're going to do is next week's show is called Buddy Clearing.
Oh.
And that's
okay.
When you get together with a friend and do clearing together, whether it's on Zoom.
Oh, I have a really good suggestion.
Yeah.
Those of you that are listening, those of you that are listening right now, think about the friend you want to call up right now and tell them you want them to join you next week in this,
or watch the show together
and
on
watch
Buddy
the
Clearing.
show. Exactly.
Yes. I mean, this is really amazing. You know, during the pandemic, our relationships have been frayed.
Oh,
and that we feel disconnected. We don't feel that closeness.
Yes.
But closeness and relationships are energies.
Oh.
So if you start clearing the negative energies around you and around your relationship with someone else, then that relationship gets better.
Well, and that means you have to use the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
Right. And the best and most fun is to do it with somebody else. Jason and I clear together all the time.
We do. But it doesn't have to be one buddy. It could be 3 or 4 or 5.
Exactly. I have several people I clear with. You were just right there.
Yes. So, you know, the ecosystem approach is a very practical way to deepen friendships.
Yeah.
And
really
we're going to lay out those benefits about why buddy clearing is really important.
Good.
And we're going to help you with that in the next show.
Okay.
So mark this calendar. This is a big one.
Okay. It is. And not to mention, well, we're going to do the show next Monday. I know people listen when it's not Monday, but that's okay too. But next Sunday is Valentine's Day, and so it's kind of a perfect thing to do. So you know, it's with someone. There's
nothing more buddy-ish than clearing negative energy between two people.
And in fact, I guarantee you it will help you understand and want to be understand that person that you're clearing with bigger, better, faster than anything I've ever done.
You know, and I know I've told you this before. You know, we're not big Valentines. Our anniversary is on the 2nd of February, so that's our day for love.
Us, yes. Yeah.
But we're not big Valentines because it seems at some point it seems kind of phony. And I know a lot of men go through the motions.
Yeah. Because their wives or their partners are demanded.
Expected.
Yes.
But there's nothing. There's not a better Valentine gift you can give to someone that you love than to clear your energy first and then help them and then clear together for both of you.
And, you know, it is remarkable because when you do clearing together, it brings up things. People have memories, sure, those kind of things, but it also brings up a love of yourself and then the love of the person that that's your buddy.
Right.
And I'm not talking about lovers. I'm talking about love that you have for your friends and family connection.
Yes,
exactly. And that is phenomenal.
So if we're touching you today, if this touches your heart, you know, if this idea of being having natural leadership or doing buddy clearing or any things that we've done in our past shows, you know, it's time to commit to the ecosystem approach.
Yeah, I agree.
What the ecosystem approach is really a new frame to live your life. So it's about putting an energy process in the center of your life as opposed to being programmed, having formulas and strategies and techniques to live your life. And, you know, start today, start now.
Okay.
And this is how you do it. We made it really simple. Listen to our show every week, whether it's on the recording or whether it's live, Facebook Live, on the radio.
Oh, and then put it on your phone.
Put it on your phone when you get the newsletter. So if you go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, you can sign up for our newsletter and our free section.
Right.
There's a lot of content there that's available to you for free. And if you go to if you make sure that box is checked, it's checked there by default.
Okay.
That gives you our weekly newsletter,
Mhm.
and that's where I tell stories and talk about Patricia, and give you a clearing list. It's very similar to the clearing list you heard today, and then you'll have it written down for you, and it's perfect. So do that. And then go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org, and look at the video, like us, look at some of the other videos, and like that.
Okay. Excuse me. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.
Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.